It's a long drive to find a place to die. A poet once said, before the regenerative revolution, that the greatest tragedy was that each person could only glimpse a fraction of the beauty in the universe before they passed away. When I was young, I felt that strongly, lying back on my raft floating down the slow river on a humid night, looking up at the stars of Earth. I felt at once a deep sadness that so many people spent their lives unable to see this beauty I idly enjoyed, and at the same time suffered a realization that somewhere another soul sat atop the steppes of Mongolia, looking out over the rugged earth, and thought the same of me. Life seemed slower again. It seemed slower now, too, but for a reason wholly different. The day I turned 27, the work of Dr. Mfara and the Regenerative Coalition made functional immortality not only possible, but cheap. I remember that day so clearly. I quit my job and ran up to the north, to the mountains, to Mongolia, to sit on those hills. For some reason, knowing that I had forever did not stoke complacency in me, as it had many others, but instead set fire anew to my ambition to find beauty in life. Years passed, decades, centuries, millennia, and I hopped from town to town, spending years in each place, learning, working, and most importantly, allowing myself to become comfortable enough to see the beauty. But as time went on, I sensed an unraveling of sorts happening in people. More quickly in some than in others, and it seemed much slower in me, but it was there in all of us. It seemed in all of these centuries we were quickly forgetting where we were going and why. For the first decade, everyone seemed young again. For the first century, everyone seemed content. And then, everyone seemed so very old. A saying became prevalent. I used to hear it everywhere, first ironically, then musingly, then wistfully. It is a long drive to find a place to die. People chose all kinds of places, with family at historical sites, commonly near wherever they were born. But I thought that perhaps, as I felt my time to rest approaching, it was time to take one last trip. The cold and empty roads of Siberia, the last place I hadn't been on the earth. I drove out one night, deleting the backups of my minds that remained, putting my affairs in order, and taking my leave as quietly as I could. As I sat there, breathing in the cold air, looking out from under the old-style neon into the frosted earth, I thought to myself at once how sad it was that to so many people, such a massive world had become so small, and at the same time suffered the realization that somewhere another man sitting where my childhood river met the sea was thinking the same of me. Perhaps it was not the world that was producing tragedy. Not time, not space, not the beauty of the sky. Perhaps it was us. There had been many philosophers who had warned and wailed in the past years. Many questions asked of purpose, and few answered. But as I looked into the cold, clear sky, I didn't find myself empty. And even though I didn't know the answer to those questions of immortality, I didn't feel I needed to anymore. I offered up a whispered prayer to the man who now rested at the end of my river, got back in my car, and drove off down the snowy road. So this was a writing prompt from June 2nd, and that was written by the Tumblr user Echoes of Fantasy. So echoesoffantasy.tumblr.com. They share a lot of really amazing writing, and basically their Tumblr kind of is in the same, it's in again a similar format as my Tumblr, the scriptory.tumblr.com. There's lots of photos, and then taking the art and photos and using them as writing prompts, which that's like right up my alley. But anyway, so that's kind of how I came across this user, and thank you so much for letting me use this as a writing share, because really, you seriously have a gift of writing, so that's awesome that I got to share that with the world. I know I haven't been very active on here recently, and mainly it's just the fact that summer just gets really busy with the nice weather and trying to take advantage of the warmth and the sunlight, the garden, and we bike tour more often, and it's just, yeah, it's a lot busier. So, but I am still active on here, and recently my writing goal recently has been to write a chapter a week, and actually thinking of that right now, I just realized I still have to finish the chapter for this week. It's only Tuesday, so I'm still good, but that realization kind of because I think last week I did accomplish my goal of writing a chapter, and I think I finished that on Tuesday, I think. So I was right on the ball, I guess, but I can't expect that every week, I guess. So this new goal of mine to finish a chapter a week started first off actually with my dot journaling, my habit tracker journaling, which is something that one of my sisters introduced to me. I hadn't heard of it before. I've never actually heard of a dot journal in general, but I started looking into it, and I really thought the idea was kind of neat. It's just tracking the habits that you do, and you can track the habits that you'd like to start doing more often. And you can make these journals as intricate or as vague or as artistic or practical as you want or need. So it kind of started that way because I wrote writing as one of my habits, and I was noticing that I was not filling in the square for writing every day. Some of the days were, I mean, some of those weeks were just empty. So I needed to figure out a little bit more. I need to hone in on what I'm actually doing with my day, because it's so easy to just kind of do nothing. And my big issue is wasting time on Tumblr because it's just a mindless stream of inspiring photos and artwork, and it's one thing to just sit and be inspired, and it's another thing to actually take your inspiration and do something with it. So and then with this journaling, I came to the realization, or not realization, but acceptance that, okay, yes, my writing I do a lot better with my writing, and I actually get writing done if I'm awake in the morning, like 6 o'clock or sooner. If I wake up then, I have the tendency to at least get some writing done. So with that in mind, I realized, okay, I need to do something about that. I need to get to bed earlier, etc., etc. Long story short, I am trying to get to bed earlier, and as I have been waking up earlier, I actually have been writing pretty much every day. And I'm not saying that figuring out your writing sweet spot time is the, I don't know what you want to, the magic bullet. I'm not saying that at all, but for me, it's definitely part of the puzzle for me getting any writing done. So, it's just really, it feels really good to actually make progress. And I'm trying to do some more writing, live write-ins, because I just find it fun too, and encouraging and inspiring and all that, to actually be sitting in a room with someone else who's writing. And it'd be neat too to see more people come onto that, but it's good how it is. But one thing I'm trying to figure out yet is if I don't really understand why YouTube had to change their policy, but now you have to have a certain amount of subscribers in order to do a live stream on your mobile phone, and that's how I normally was doing my live streams. So now I have to be at a desktop computer with a webcam. Or I can stream on Twitch, and that's what I did for the last couple ones. But it's just so frustrating having all of these different avenues for people to come find a live stream. So it would be nice. I might be able to figure something out with YouTube. But yeah, and then I was trying to stream on this one computer we have in the house, and it doesn't have like a webcam. It's like built into the computer. And then I was trying to live stream, and the YouTube was telling me that I needed to, like, I don't know, install some sort of streaming app or whatever, and I just didn't understand. So I'm thinking maybe it needs like an actual webcam plugged in for it to register that I'm using a webcam. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's all new to me, so it just had to change. But I think I've rambled on enough, and again, I just want to say thank you to echoesoffantasy.tumblr.com for sharing your work. It's awesome, and I hope you don't mind if I use it again, because I just think it's awesome. Yeah, I hope to see you guys around here for a live write-in, and if you want to have your writing shared on here, just contact me in any of the ways, Twitter, Tumblr, or email, or comment here on YouTube. I hope you have a wonderful writing day and rest of your week.